Hello and welcome to another episode of the Veterans Corner. My name's Chuck Woodin. I'll be your host. Joining my co-host, Katrina Zigwolf, otherwise known as Kat.
Evening.
We have a very special guest with us today. We're honored to have the Commissioner of the Connecticut Veterans Affairs with us again this time. This has got to be what, Ron?
This is probably number 6 or 7.
Yeah, just in your position now, before with Easter seals and all that. The Commissioner is also the Brigadier General, retired U.S. Army. Once again, Ron, it's an absolute honor to have you here. We're going to be talking about stand down, right?
Chuck, first off, thank you very much once again. And Katrina, great to see you. Always a pleasure to be on your show. We're going to talk about stand down, which is coming up on Friday the 20th of September.
Yeah. You know how we always open up the show by saying thank you for your service on behalf of the viewers and us here at the Veterans Corner.
Thank you.
And you've got
thank you for your service.
I know you've got an extensive military background, and we all respect that and respect the fact that you're the Commissioner.
Thank you.
So, can you give us the history behind stand down?
Sure. So, stand down started most recently in the early 90s. And to me, the definition of stand down is for all of us to kind of pause and put together some resources and take care of our active military service members that may be around the state of Connecticut, National Guard, reservists, and family, and make sure that they really understand the programs, services, and all the benefits that they've earned, they're entitled to.
Yeah. How many usually attend? Roughly, how many usually attend the stand down?
Last year we had approximately, at 5 locations, we had about 1,200.
1,200.
We hope to break that record this year. We're opening a 6th site down in Stamford.
Oh, wow. That's great.
After your answer, I have a question, actually, that since stand down went to 5 locations versus the 1 in Rocky Hill, as those numbers increased, stayed the same as far as those that attend?
They're pretty much the same at this point, but I think the real beauty of having the different locations is the veteran population can find out what's close to where they live and make those local connections. So that's a benefit. We're going to put it in the same footprint we had it several years ago in Rocky Hill, right in the quadrangle at that particular location. But the other ones I know we'll talk about in just a minute. We'll give the addresses in those locations.
Great.
Yeah, that was the first one that I had gone to, and that was about 15 years ago. I skipped the first one because everybody was talking about the stand down, but I didn't know what it was. They never told me what it was, and then finally I went to one, and they had a barber, they had a dentist, they had a clothing corner, they had a phone tent, they had lawyer tent, I renewed my driver's license. They had all in one-stop shopping. I thought that was fantastic, but that was the one in Rocky Hill. And now like you're saying, you've added some locations. So tell us where those are.
We have, and right now we'll start with the first location, which is going to be at University of Bridgeport. There's a large recreation center down there. It's called the Wheeler Recreation Center. The address of that is 400 University Avenue. Bristol, great stand down event in Bristol last year, and I'm sure that Donna will have another one this year, and that is at St. Gregory CCD Center, and that's 1043 Stafford Avenue. Danbury at the Memorial on One Memorial Drive, and back up to where I previously served in Norwich at Easter Seals Capital Region, Eastern Connecticut, Veterans Rally Point, and that is 24 Stott Avenue. In Rocky Hill on our main campus, that's 287 West Street in Rocky Hill. It's a 92-acre campus. And then down in Stamford's the number 6 location we added. And that's going to be at the University of Connecticut, and that's One University Place.
Wow.
That's good.
It's a lot
Now,
of
is it open to the public or family members, or is it just veterans only?
Great question. So we want to make sure that we include everybody. So again, if you're currently serving in the military on active duty, you're welcome to come by. If you're in the National Guard, any one of the reserve components, you're a veteran, or you're an immediate family member, you're absolutely welcome.
Excellent.
What type of services can one expect at these locations?
So, Katrina really started to hit on those services. Right now, we have 64 providers signed up for those 6 locations.
Wow.
And, and both of you know, it's about meeting the veteran population where they are.
Yeah.
There's a lot of folks that are really struggling. And I want to say if we can start out with the basic foundational things, such as medical screening and providing simple vaccines at each one of the locations, that's one of our key goals, flu shots and those types of vaccines. Some sites we're lucky and we're going to team up with some dental schools like UConn Dental School. We'll be doing a dental screen and they'll have some dental supplies to hand out. Legal services, so important. Occasionally our veteran population gets a little bit jammed up on the legal side. And these attorneys come in pro bono, they do it free, and they give legal advice, which is really nice. Department of Labor.
We had one on the show
Yeah.
out of New Haven.
Yeah. And sometimes they can clear away some of your old clutter from from years past. And I know a couple buddies were like, "No, go get that cleaned up." And so it was great to hear that. They were on our side. We don't have to pay. We just show up and tell them what we're up against. And
Department of Labor, Department of Motor Vehicles providing free licenses and IDs. Ocean State Job Lot we've had a couple meetings with them, and they are graciously donating a couple thousand winter coats.
oh my goodness.
So each location should have winter coats available. Department of Education, Department of Housing, very important for those that are either homeless or at risk to become homeless, will be there, and many other providers.
Fantastic.
You were talking about winter coats, and here we are in August.
Yeah.
It's right around the corner.
Yeah. Well, with the crazy weather we've been having, I mean, we didn't have a winter last year. Then we had, a couple of years ago, we had 3 nor'easters in 2 weeks' time. So it was just.
Now, we'll go winter coats again and winter gear, gloves, hats. How big is the demand for those items?
Well, you've heard of food scarcity and food shortages around the state for the general population as well as the veteran population. And as Katrina said, the weather is so unpredictable. It's always nice to have those things available.
Yeah,
And why is stand down important to you? I mean, where does that come in on your career path?
We are very blessed to be in the state of Connecticut. We have a lot of people that care. There's a lot of wealth in Connecticut. There's more than 160,000 veterans. So for a small state, we've got a good-sized veteran population, maybe closer to 180,000. We want to make sure that every veteran out there, family member, they know what's available to them. And the best way for us to do that is to continue to encourage our leadership, our appointed leadership, political leaders, to make sure they appoint in every one of the towns or municipalities a municipal vet representative. So that person is really that first person to go to in any town across the state of Connecticut. Right now, we have about 120 that we have trained out of 169 towns. We need one in every town. And that person is the critical person that can make all these linkages to the social services. They should be able to tell you where food pantry is, where there's clothing available, housing, how to enroll in the VA medical care system if a vet's eligible, and very importantly, how to get in touch with our veteran service officers in our 5 district offices.
And what a lot of veterans, or some veterans, don't realize is the veteran service officers are also, they're located at the veteran service organizations, the VSOs, American Legion, VFW, DAV, Am I missing anything?
Those are the primary ones.
Those are the three primary. Where can people find out more information about this day?
So there's no pre-registration required right now for veterans.
Yeah.
There's a couple ways. We have a dedicated phone line. That number is 860-616-3772. You can also send an email to standdown, one word, STANDOWN @ct.gov, or you can visit our Department of Veterans Affairs Facebook for additional details. I want to add, we also have just done a significant makeover of our website. It's really user-friendly. A couple clicks and you will hit one of the four core missions that we have. It'll take you right where you need to go, whether it's our skilled care facility, our dormitory, our housing. So our residential program, our skilled care facility, our Office of Advocacy and Assistance, or our cemetery and memorial services.
And what is that website?
Just CT, Department of Veterans Affairs, and it'll pop up. There's also a virtual tour on that site now, and we basically have a drone kind of flying over to take a look at it, and a couple words about in each one of the facilities. You get a really good view of what's happening on that 92-acre campus.
And so if people want to support the Stand Down or volunteer, how do they reach out? How do they sign up?
Great question. So if they want to volunteer, the deadline, there's an application online. And once again, I missed part of the correct web address, but it's www.ct.gov/DVA, as in Department of Veterans Affairs. If you go to that website, you'll see the application. It's very simple to fill out, and we have somebody checking that, and we'll get you signed up. And the volunteers that are accepted will be notified by the 13th of September.
Nice. There's always upcoming events. Can you let the viewers know?
Absolutely.
What's on the docket?
You know, I was blessed to get appointed by the governor last year, and I asked our administrative assistant, I said, could you please document the events just so I can get a feel for the rhythm?
Yeah.
And we're probably into about 70 or so different events throughout the year. We have an event calendar that's available. A couple key things that are coming up for us, Veterans Hall of Fame. Nominations are now being accepted. Again, if you go to that website, the Hall of Fame application will be there. To date, we have inducted 199 veterans, going back to when it all started back in 2006. And I just want to talk for a second. It's not a military Hall of Fame per se. It's a Veterans Hall of Fame. So the first prerequisite is to have served honorably in the military. It doesn't matter the length of time. You don't have to have been a career military person, but served honorably. And it's all about the contributions that you made after service. So what kind of things have you done on the volunteerism side? Coaches of athletic teams and scout leaders and people that have run food pantries and possibly held a political office or been on a school board. That's a big part of it. And the second part is advocacy for our veteran community. What has that person done to advocate? I will say that it is, nobody on this committee, it's a whole selection committee, and there are several members on. So everybody would get a vote. The applications are screened and the selections are made, and the ceremony will be happening in January of 2025 for this year's class. We normally induct about 11 to 12. I went all the way back into history, and the only thing I would say, sadly, my count is that about 7 female veterans have been inducted so far. And we all know that there are many, many more deserving female veterans that somebody should consider nominating. So please give that a little bit of thought also.
Question: can someone be nominated posthumously?
Yes, absolutely. There have been several.
Yeah, and this is all up at the state capitol.
Nice. Better late than never.
Yeah, I mean, I've I haven't had the opportunity to attend one of these in the past, but that might be something that we can do in January.
Have a presence.
I mean, I know it's a big thing. I know a couple people that have been inducted into that Hall of Fame. I know it's something to be. What about the public? Can the public, is the public
Yes.
welcome?
And what we ended up doing last year, it's been held in several different locations. It was in the legislative office building connected to the Capitol. They moved it to the National Guard Armory on Broad Street, and last year the decision was made to move it down to Rocky Hill on our campus, and we have redone our beautiful Gold Star Memorial Auditorium. We think it's going to be on the 23rd of January back at our location. And either the governor or lieutenant governor will preside over the ceremony. Last year, Lieutenant Governor Bysewicz presided. Exceptional ceremony. Everybody that was there, I think, really enjoyed it. And it was standing room only. It was filled to capacity.
Nice. I mean, it's. We got about 7 minutes left. Is there anything else you want to cover?
Sure. Let me go back to the applications. So you can fill it out online, and the probably best way, because there's a little bit of sensitive information that we've asked, because we have to make sure that we do backgrounds. So the best thing to do is complete the application, just mail it to us. Department of Veterans Affairs, 287 West Street, Rocky Hill. Mail the application to us, and we will take a look at it. We have another ceremony that we've done it the last few years for unclaimed remains, cremains. And we believe that will occur in October, possibly early November. And right now, 6 veterans have been identified to be interred in our columbarium. We coordinate and work very closely with Connecticut Funeral Directors Association. They do a wonderful job with that ceremony. They really help us out, and it's very dignified transfer remains and interment. And then we have you've all heard about the Wreaths Across America event.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
This year, Saturday, the 14th of December,
That's 2024 for the visitors at home.
the Wreaths Across America at our State Veterans Cemetery in Middletown. We'll also have a ceremony over at Colonel Gates, which is directly across our main gate in Rocky Hill. There are about 1,600 service members buried there. So those are just a few events that we know we have coming up. We will get extremely busy as soon as September hits. We'll be involved in some of the memorials relative to 11 September. And of course, as we get close to Veterans Day, there will be numerous ceremonies around the state. Last year, I believe I participated in 7 or 8 of those events. So those are coming at us.
I saw you at the one down in North Stonington.
Mm-hmm.
That was really
How
nice.
many now are laid to rest in Middletown?
There are approximately 16,000.
Wow.
And it's a beautiful cemetery. And I do want to talk about that just for a minute. One of the priorities with the previous commissioner when we were handing things off was he said, Ron, you got to really get on the cemetery and you've got to get the thing expanded. We're running out of space. So we're down to about the last less than 2,000 spaces available. We've been working very hard with Department of Administrative Services, Office of Personnel Management to do a cemetery expansion, which we hope to have some very good news soon on that expansion, but that is a huge priority. Today was a great day for our department. We appeared before the Bond Commission. Governor Lamont chaired it. We had 4 priorities, and we are receiving funding to support those 4. Really happy about that. One is replacing a roof on our skilled care facility. The second is a nurse call bell system being replaced, about 20 years old in the facility. Very important to have that operational. And then our water tower that is about 84 years old. It needs a lot of work, and it's got a bunch of emergency communication equipment hung on it, and it's about 300,000 gallons of water for our fire suppression system. And then the final thing is the Federal Veteran Administration cemetery team came up and inspected our cemetery. They walked through the cemetery. It's important for us to do well. It was a 3-day inspection. They take a level, they pick out 100 headstones, and they check the plumbness of the stones to make sure that they're really plumb. They also check the height. They check all the administrative data to make sure it's correct. Everything's recorded and plotted correctly.
That place has always been impressive. The first time I was there, I know the whole front area there was no stones there. I know back when I was heavily involved, when Wreaths Across America first started, I think there was only like 6,000 that were there at the time, and now it's up to 16.
Now, have you seen a big change since Facebook and social media? Because I mean, it's so much easier to get the word out now.
Yeah, it's helping a lot, and we always need support on the purchasing of the wreaths. Also, we want to try to have one for each one of the, graves that are there. It's just so important, and it's beautiful, especially when the first snowfall hits, to have that, appropriately honoring and remembering those that have sacrificed so much for us.
What was the date on that again, Commissioner?
I'm sorry?
What was the date?
December 14th, Saturday. And we normally kick it off either at 9 or 10 o'clock. All are welcome. The public is welcome. And we really appreciate their support when they come in and help us.
That's something we should probably start pushing on our shows between now and then.
Definitely. Now, do you have a Facebook page that people can join on so we can get notifications and things?
If you go to our Department of Veterans Affairs Facebook or our website, you'll start to see information. We'll definitely have a lot posted.
You were talking about the internment for the those that unclaimed. Was that
or newly identified?
Yeah. Are they interned in Rocky Hill or in Middletown?
They will be interred in Middletown.
Middletown. That's, once again, I mean, I have relatives there. I mean, I know, I was actually thinking about having my final resting spot there, if there's room at that point.
I hadn't thought about it, but then I got married, so it's like, he's like, no, you're with me now. I said, all right.
Well, Commissioner, it was an absolute honor to have you here. These 25-minute shows go by extremely fast.
They do.
I mean, we can continue to talk about a lot of. Once again, just let the viewers know when stand down again.
Friday, the 20th of September, and we moved it up by an hour. We're going to kick it off at 9 o'clock, and it will go to 2 o'clock. Something I didn't mention, lunch will be available at every site, and I can't thank Connecticut Department of Transportation enough. And we'll put this up on our website. There are multiple pickup points throughout the state of Connecticut. I call them transportation hubs that the veterans can go to and get free transportation to all the 6 remote sites.
Now, are they having simultaneous stand down?
Yes.
Okay. So everybody.
These will all these 6 locations, they'll all start up at 9 o'clock and they'll all close at 2 o'clock.
Okay, that's all the time we got. I'm getting a word that Once again, it was an absolute honor. Look forward to the next time
betcha.
to have you back.
Thank
and
you very much.
giving us an
Appreciate
update. Always a pleasure. With that being said, we want to thank the viewers for watching. Till the next time on the Veterans Corner. Good night.
Sometimes life just happens. Don't worry. Farmington Motorsports will get you back on the road and at a fair price. From towing to tires, emissions to transmissions.
Our ASC certified techs do it all.
Farmington Motorsports is a family-run business. We're a Napa Auto Center and AAA approved. We work on all makes and models from preventative maintenance to major repairs.
And every repair is backed by our 2-year, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty.
When life happens to you, don't worry. Farmington Motorsports.